Harry came over here, and we were already hearing a lot about what was going on with their relationship. He had been at his father's side, and he mentioned not being able to catch up with him back in May. After the BBC interview, things had gone relatively quiet. Until now. One of the most publicly humiliating moments of their post-royal lives just unfolded. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle reportedly stormed out of the 5th annual Critics' Choice Super Awards after being flat-out denied entry by security. According to multiple sources at the event, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex weren't on the official guest list. Even more shocking, security had been explicitly instructed not to let them in under any circumstances. What followed was chaos. Eyewitnesses described it as loud, messy, and deeply embarrassing. Harry was visibly angry. Meghan allegedly demanded to speak to someone in charge. Moments later, the two left in full view of guests and press. The couple who once made headlines for royal engagements were now being talked about for having doors slammed in their faces. What was supposed to be a quiet arrival turned into a spectacle. So, where did all this come from? Apparently, they arrived in a blacked-out SUV, expecting the red carpet treatment. Instead, they were stopped by professional security, who calmly asked for credentials they didn't have. It quickly became clear. They weren't welcome, weren't invited, and weren't getting in. One staffer said the tension was so thick, you could cut through it. Meghan, in a sleek floor-length gown, looked visibly annoyed. Harry, in a tailored suit, paced nervously while their team scrambled on the phone. It was entitled Panic. Neither of them expected this level of rejection. Harry probably had that BBC interview lined up before knowing how badly this would go. He likely imagined giving a heartfelt plea for reconciliation, until he saw how things had actually turned out. This all happened in front of flashing cameras, press, and VIPs arriving at the event. And what made it even more explosive wasn't just that they were denied, it's the reason why. A source involved in the event's logistics said Meghan and Harry's reps emailed 2 weeks prior, requesting access. Their request wasn't ignored, it was reviewed and formally declined with a polite but firm response. No additional seats or media slots are available at this time. That should have been the end of it. But instead of respecting that decision, they showed up anyway, without passes, confirmation, or regard for protocol. Security, already briefed, didn't hesitate. One official confirmed, if they arrive without credentials, do not let them in. Period. There was no misunderstanding, no clerical error. This was a direct and deliberate rejection from a major Hollywood event. So what now? We know meetings have happened, and the diary's been shared. Is this Harry trying to smooth things over with the royal family? It seems like he's hoping for reconciliation. Perhaps with the king. But one thing's clear. Whatever influence the couple once had in elite circles is fading fast. Eyewitnesses said Meghan tried to take charge. When the security lead wouldn't budge, she demanded to speak to someone in charge. Staffers nearby heard her say, "This is unacceptable. Do you know who we are?" They did. Still, no exceptions were made. Harry, meanwhile, looked deeply uncomfortable. His posture tightened, his face hardened. At one point, he stepped away and made a phone call, presumably to someone who might fix the situation. But no one did. 15 minutes passed, tension rising, voices raised. Finally, they turned back to their vehicle. Harry reportedly slammed the car door. Meghan, jaw clenched, followed silently. Their team trailed behind them, flustered, as their SUV drove off into the night. They never even made it inside. And this wasn't a private moment. It unfolded right at the venue entrance, in full view of bloggers, organizers, influencers, and paparazzi. Dozens of phones captured it. Although most of the footage hasn't been released, likely due to legal pressure from Archewell, several details have already been confirmed. Just hours after the incident, one entertainment reporter tweeted, "I just watched Meghan Markle get denied entry by security. That's not a rumor. That's a fact." It marked a stunning reversal. Not long ago, Meghan graced magazine covers as a global style icon. Harry was seen as a humanitarian and a royal rebel in love. But in this moment, none of that mattered. Without an invitation or credentials, they were simply two uninvited guests demanding access. And the silence that followed made it even worse. No statement, no explanation, no attempt to spin the story. The Archewell PR machine went completely quiet. And in that silence, the public came to its own conclusion. Not royalty, not victims. just entitlement on full display. One veteran publicist who's worked 2 decades in the LA awards circuit said, "This is what happens when people still think the spotlight belongs to them. The industry has moved on. It's no longer about titles, it's about respect. And arriving without an invite doesn't signal respect. It screams desperation." Sources claim this wasn't the first time Meghan and Harry tried to gain entry to an event without formal inclusion. Over the last 18 months, Meghan's team had reportedly contacted various award bodies, from the Golden Globes to music shows, requesting last-minute tickets, presenter roles, or unassigned seats. While those attempts didn't make headlines, the Critics' Choice Super Awards incident changed everything. The footage exists. The eyewitnesses are speaking out. Even their earlier media appearances, the Oprah interview, the docuseries, the podcasts, are now viewed through a different lens. What once seemed powerful is now seen as misjudged. The credibility they spent years building is slowly unraveling. They're no longer welcomed in spaces where reputation, not spectacle, matters. And the aftermath of that night hasn't died down. It's only grown louder. This wasn't a misunderstanding. It was a reckoning. And the fallout hit them hard, personally, professionally, and publicly. In the days that followed, the industry started whispering. Publicists, producers, streaming executives, behind the scenes, the message was the same. They're no longer who they think they are. A producer from a competing award show put it plainly, "There's always a list. They used to be on top. Now they're in the column you avoid, unless you want a circus." And those whispers didn't stay private. Online, the incident went viral. Images of Harry pacing, Meghan gesturing at security, Archwell aides frantically texting. Everything was recorded. Everything was analyzed. Still, no comment. No Instagram post. No friend defending them. Just silence. And that silence said it all. Inside Archwell, it was full-blown crisis mode. According to two sources close to the nonprofit, the incident triggered days of internal meetings. The PR team, already under strain from recent failures, scrambled to craft a response. But it was too late. The cameras had already captured everything. The venue staff had confirmed it. And the public wasn't buying spin. One insider described Meghan's behind-the-scenes reaction as explosive. She reportedly blamed her team for not securing access. But as one staffer later said privately, no one failed her. The event declined. She just refused to accept it. The atmosphere inside Archwell became increasingly toxic. Public campaigns were paused. A key staffer took a leave of absence due to mental health concerns. Morale, already fragile, sank to new lows. Not a single supportive voice emerged. No public defense. Not even a retweet. Even Serena Williams, who once stood beside Meghan during her toughest moments, said nothing. Silence became the loudest message of all.